So what are SBCs, or squad building challenges? That is the aim of this video, to help you guys out to understand how do they work, what can you get from them, and what do I require in order to complete them. There are a whole host of SBCs that will be released throughout the entire year of FC26, so let's get things underway with the three core pillars of how SBCs work and what they are. So EA's official welcome says, test your squad building skills to craft rewards including items exclusive to SBCs. And this is correct. Basically every week we get multiple players and packs and things like that you can only obtain via an SBC. So this could be a player that is exclusive to the promo that's only available via SBCs. It might be upgrade packs that you can get via it, and many more things. So how do you do it? You exchange your players. As it says, use players from your club or visit the transfer market to complete challenges. Exchange them for unique and exclusive rewards only available in SBCs. And you can earn on the go. Basically, you can do SBCs via the web app or via your companion app on your phone, tablet, whatever you may have. So when you go to the SBC section for the first time, this is what you are met with. Maybe a little bit intimidating because you don't understand what it is, but fortunately EA have given us an intro to SBCs section, and all of the other ones are completely locked off until you have done the intro. This means you can look at the cards and look at the rewards, but you can't start anything else. Some SBCs are wildly expensive, especially at the start of the game when you really don't want to get rid of any of your coins or fodder. So you may need to go to Loot Bar. By far the cheapest place to get your coins on FC26 on all platforms, 10% cheaper than others, and delivered in as fast as half an hour. Some of your favorite YouTubers are already using Loot Bar, and the reviews are fantastic. And if you use my code BIRDIEX at checkout, then you'll get a bigger discount on your coins. So go and check out Loot Bar in the description down below. So when you go into it, we get another pop-up saying, these are the things you need to do. Look at the requirements and review the SBC before you get into it. Then you need to add players into the squad that meet those requirements, and then you submit the SBC, and that is that. That is how they work. It is very simple, but let's take a look at the first one. So there are 4 in this intro to SBC section. The first one's called Breakaway. And you can see underneath me both the rewards, if you flick the right stick, and the requirements for this SBC. So this is one part of the overall SBC. So let's go into the first one and take a look. For this very first introductory SBC, all it requires is a 64 rated or lower card. That is a bronze card. Fortunately, when you start Ultimate Team, you are given a bronze card. And this is how you do your player swapping, by the way. You can very easily just put players in, multi-swap by pressing the start or options button on your controller. And you can choose from the players in your club who you want to put into the SBC. Now, there is a very important thing to note here whilst I'm choosing my bronze here. Any player that you put into an SBC is removed from your club permanently. Okay, there is no way to get them back, even if you do it accidentally. This is it. As it says here, the starting 11, whatever you submit, will be permanently removed. Are you sure? Yes. So don't accidentally put your best starting gold striker in there. You can put in any player. Now, some SBCs will require certain chemistry. Some will require certain requirements like different card types and things like that. So you need to review the restrictions and also requirements for each SBC before you start to complete it. Most SBCs for players will require multiple squads. So one may be an 80 rated squad, another one might be an 81, and then the final one might be an 82. So you need to submit 3 different starting 11s that meet the different requirements, and you will obtain yourself players, packs. For example, in this scenario, we got ourselves a silver pack, and that is part 1. Then you have part 2 of this intro to SBCs, and you can see how it's trying to integrate a little bit more. So it's introducing more restrictions or requirements gradually so that you can understand exactly how this works. We can put in 2 players here, and as you can see, because they are not between 65 and 74, we can't submit them. This SBC requires silver players. And so we have to go back, we have to swap those players out for 2 silver cards, and all of a sudden, our requirements are ticked, and we can submit this SBC. And if you do submit a player that is in your squad, it will always pop up and warn you, are you sure you want to submit this card? They're currently in this squad. So whatever your team is named, maybe you have 4 different squads. If a player is in any of those, it will tell you. So you can't accidentally submit someone that you are currently using, which is a nice feature for EA to add in. As we go into the third part of the intro to SBCs, this one is, once again, pretty easy. Now you should be understanding what these requirements are and how you manage to complete them. And it's not crazy technical at this stage. When you get puzzle and challenge SBCs, which we'll get to shortly, you may start to see things that are a lot harder to figure out, to understand. Now, you can use external sites like Footbin, FootGG, in order to find SBC solutions where you can follow their formulas and create your own solutions to those puzzles. But for the most part, the vast majority of SBCs are based around rating of squad, rating of the players that you are putting in. As you can see, this final part of this SBC, you can see that it requires 75 rated or above, which means for this one, this is the first time that we have to put some gold players in. So wherever possible, use the lowest rated cards that you can for SBCs. There is no point in overpaying. Like, you're not going to be wanting to put 83 rated players into an SBC where you can put 75s, because they are significantly easier to obtain. There isn't any reason to do that unless it requires certain rated players. So we submit this one, and once again, it pops up and tells us that we are using a player from one of our squads. But that is that. Intro to SBCs completed. What that now means is every other SBC that is currently in the game is now unlocked. So you can do that with the stuff that you get from the very beginning. So this is now your SBC screen. You can scroll through all of these, you can see the upgrades, the challenges, and all of the players. If you want to come back to an SBC at some point, you can favourite it by pressing Y or triangle on your controller, and that will create an extra tab at the top that you can now see that says Favourites. Sometimes it's a bit buggy, you might have to do it twice. But that is an easy way, especially if you've got a big player that requires 10 squads that you're slowly working through, you can get to that very easily. Next up, we've got the Players tab. This is every player that is not an icon. So that can be one of these World Tour cards, it can be a Squad Foundations card. Anything that is not an icon will go into the Players tab. And you can see these requirements are obviously a lot higher rated here. We need 81, 82, 83 rated squads, but the individual rewards are also a little bit better. And of course, our group reward is a nice Carney Chukwuemeka World Tour card. You can see at the bottom how many squads there are and how many you've completed, and you can also see how long it has left. Some SBCs are repeatable, and we'll get to that shortly, but it basically tells you all the information that you need on this screen before you go into it. Now we move across to the upgrade section. This is where you are going to receive packs and things like that. So the permanent fixtures here are the bronze, silver, and gold upgrades. And as you can see, it just says repeatable. If it says repeatable 3, for example, like the 77 upgrade that's on the screen, then you can do it 3 times. Then we have the challenges. Now, these are the ones that might be a little bit harder. If we go into the England challenges, you can see these requirements are significantly more complicated. So what you can do is, once you get more used to them, you'll be able to understand these and how you can cross off multiple things at the same time easily. But if you need solutions, you can go onto those external sites. Then we also have foundations, and you can do the player SBCs, the intro to the upgrades, and the intro to challenges, and it will give you basically a feel of what those different types of SBCs will be like as they get more complicated throughout the game. Now, of course, these starting ones aren't quite as expensive or as complicated as the ones that will be added, but that is the whole point of the tutorial and the intros that EA have put into the game. So at this point, you should have a good feeling of everything that you need to know about SBCs. There are going to be hundreds this year of players, packs, and more. So if you have any other questions, leave it in the comments, but thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.